But yes, indeed, we're focusing on security issues this morning for this segment. We've got our Honorable Ogene Ego, who is a former member of the House Committee on Local Content and is a member of the ECOWAS Parliament. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. This is a big concern. All right. Now, this is a matter that members, both in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, have voiced concerns about, saying, look, something really needs to be done urgently about security. So when they say some of these things, many will equally tell them, look, they had their chance and still do to contribute largely to us getting a solution. Is that right?
Well, let me say first that I sympathize with those who have lost their life because of lack of effective security in the country. The Constitution is very clear. The first item of the Constitution talks about security of life, and property as the first major aim of government. And to that extent, if the government cannot provide security to its people, the government has failed. I'm not criticizing anybody on this, but if you can have a governor of Katsina State, a reputable man who was the former Speaker of the House, come out to cry that he has failed his people, he cannot provide their security. If you can have the governor of Sokoto State, with his experience, coming out to say there's nothing they can do, and the senator representing some part of Sokoto State, saying that they're now relying on Niger Republic to provide their security. If you can have governors all over the place in the south, all crying out, they cannot provide security, then we know that there's need to change the security architecture of the country. Now, for many years, we've had only one police structure. Before then, when we started the First Republic, every state had their police. Even local government had their police. So policing was very effective. But when Irosi came on, he brought unitary form of government in, and he cancelled all the other police, and then brought only one federal police, and that is our undoing. The problem we have in this country, the security problem, is too much. They are not something that only Abuja police can handle. Agreed, the police are everywhere, but it's not possible for them to handle it. In most states today, as we speak, there are security problem. There's kidnapping going on everywhere, robbery, people are being killed everywhere. How do we solve this problem? In my opinion, the best way to solve this problem is to have state police. Some people may argue that, if you have state police, the governors will misuse that police. I want to say that right now, the governors have resources. If they want to misuse any police that is in the state, they can easily use their resources to let that happen. But the thing is, we're talking about the security of life of Nigeria. I think that in every state, there should be somebody that is responsible for security. A situation where we blame everything that happened in Zamfara, in the Katsina, in Sokoto, in Rivers, in Delta, in Lagos, everything that happened, you blame it on the president. It's wrong in terms of security. Every state should be responsible for their security. And that is why the governors are said to be the chief security officer of their state. If a governor is the chief security of his state, yet he has no police force, he has no power of cohesion, he has no way of defending the state, he does not even have a way of collating information.
Honorable Ego, is wrong. The National Assembly, members of the House inclusive, they had a chance to correct this when they were amending the Constitution. But they didn't do that. They failed to do that. So what's the point now?
I agree with you. We failed woefully in that. But don't forget that we lost that vote with only 24 votes. That is the 8th Assembly. We lost it with only 24 votes. And I think it is because we've not really explained it to people, to the legislature well enough at that time. I'm sure now the governors knowing what they face, I'm sure they'll be able to call their legislature and say, look, the only way to provide security in our state is to have state police. When you have state police, the governor and the people in the state, they are in charge. Because they are in charge, they will be able to go everywhere there's problem. They understand the rules and credit of the state.
I'm sorry, let me follow up on something you said, just to shed more light on that.
Police.
Pardon me to jump in. You'll continue that thought, hopefully. Well, when you say that's because they didn't explain to them properly, what does that mean? The members did not read the bills or the part that they were voting on?
When it came in the 8th Republic, I mean the 8th Assembly, the constitutional amendment, you know, the issue of state police was one of them. But at that time, there were still a lot of misgivings. Some people feel that, oh, if there's no state police, you know, there are people who don't have authority over everybody. Some people believe that, I mean, if there's a federal police, it's better for the nation. But between then and now, every legislator is now seeing the problem. I'm not sure there's any legislator who will leave Abuja to his state without looking for one form of security or the other. You would rather prefer to fly or go by rail. Even when you go to Kaduna by rail, of course you are securing the rail. But as soon as you come back from the railway station and go into the town, of course insecurity comes in. A lot of people have been kidnapped like that. So everybody now knows that there's insecurity. Everybody is afraid to go by road. Because if you do that, you are on your own. Herdsmen are everywhere. Criminals are everywhere. Try to cash on it. So I'm sure that legislators are better informed now. There will still be a federal police like you have FBI in America. You can imagine in America, all the rioters have been going on every...
Just pardon me. Yes, speaking of legislators, I just wanted to quickly put this in. I recall it was about 2 weeks ago, one of the members of the National Assembly threatened to resign if nothing is done about security in the country. And, you know, it begged the question, if nothing is done, by who exactly? I know you have said you don't want to blame anybody, but on whose table is it to do more about security?
I agree with you. It is on our table. I have personally sponsored a bill for state police. I've put in a bill for that, which is going for first reading very soon. What I'm saying is that the problem we have now is so enormous in terms of security. No foreigner will want to come and invest in the country or in the state where he knows he cannot travel from the capital to where his investment is by road. How does it go? Is he going to build an airport in all the local government headquarters? It's not possible. So this insecurity is even denying us of investment. It's denying us of improving the life of our people, providing employment for our people. Like I said earlier, in the United States of America, in Britain, in all major countries of the world, you don't have war security. A situation where all security problems are referred to Abuja to the Special Police is wrong. We are not saying there should not be Nigeria police. They remain. Just like you have FBI in America. You know, you have the National Guard. All these represent the police force.
Are you planning
in the place where the problems?
Honorable Ego, are you planning to introduce such a bill to the House?
Of course, yes, of state police, yes. The Speaker have signed it. I've already dropped it. It will go for first reading very soon. Because the bill we are considering right now is on community policing. And it's the same problem. The community policing all will be responsible to the Special Police. You know, coming from down to that. And the Special Police, they have too much work in their hand. The police force, we must sympathize with them. The job they have in their hand, policing the nation, is too much. You just watched the Commissioner of Police or the IAG talking about Kasida State. After those massive riots are going on, this is a state where the president comes from. If he can be affected with social insecurity, then anywhere in the country can be affected. Okay. It shows that...
Honorable, one of the things that I believe that will be of concern to you as to everyone else about this state policing would be funding. On the one hand is the issue that many people have talked about, that a number of states are not viable on their own economically as we speak. So on the one hand, that challenge is there. On the other hand is that of funding the police. What's your proposition about how the different state police structures will be funded?
The police is quite simple. I can assure you, in every state of this federation, all the DPOs, the vehicles they use have been donated by the state governments. There's no state government in this federation that have not donated up to 30 or 40 cars to the police force. So in terms of movement, the states are already providing resources. Then, if you go everywhere, in every street you stay in Lagos or most places, capitals of states, even local government, everybody contributes to security. You hire security, everybody pays security. You know, it depends on what some call the Bakassi boys, some call them civilian GTF, but some are being funded by the people already. So there's nothing wrong. This same money that we are contributing for security that is not able to help anything, this same money can now be paid to the states. A fund can be created where they'll be paid as security tasks. I'm not sure there's anybody in the country who will pay for security tasks and have sufficient security and will be against it. Everybody is afraid to sleep at night with both eyes closed. So if you are asked to pay a small amount for a fund to provide for state security, of course you will pay it. Let's look at Katsina State, for instance. Over 3,000 people in IDP.
All right. Don't forget that
to feed those people, to relocate them, it's more than enough to pay so many police, enough to pay many policemen. So what I'm saying is that in every state, banks are being robbed. Look at what happened in Kogi State, where you go there, you kill all the all policemen, all the DPOs, you kill the DPO, you kill all the policemen, and then the robbers, for over 2 hours, they walk away. It has happened in a district, in so many places. I'm sure that the people from those areas, if you say, pay a small amount as SARS, so that you can have effective policing, of course.
Okay. Are you sure that this proposition that you're making is something, just one moment, are you sure that this proposition of yours is something that the state governments would be willing to open up to? Remember that we've had cases where some of the governors, even before the arguments about during the argument about minimum wage, many of them said they couldn't even afford to pay the previous minimum wage, how much more the one that's come up now. So adding to the salaries of their own policemen to their bill, are you sure that many of them will be able to sustain it? Because if they're unable to sustain it, it creates an even bigger problem for them.
Yeah. I'm sure that if the governors come together and look at the pros and cons, they will sustain it. Because the cost of insecurity to government, to the state government, is far, far more than the cost of paying for state police. It's far, far more. Don't forget that a lot of the state governments are already supporting a civilian, what do you call it, civilian group of people who provide security. And Bakassi, a lot of the state governments are already supporting it. Most of the state, there's no state governor right now who is not spending money on ensuring that there's security for his people. For instance, Zamfara State, where people are being killed every day. Are you telling me that the governor will say, "Oh, we are so poor," and we don't do anything? They are spending money.
All right, just before we wind down, Honorable, we need you to say, respond to this, if you will. The members in the House, because what people remember is how the last time this was tried, it failed. What is he thinking now? Have you picked their brains? Do they actually support this? Do you see this seeing the light of day eventually?
Well, yeah. More people now see the need for state police. They now see the need. So people are trying to confuse people with community policing. Of course, all those wars are the same thing. We make matters worse because all these wars are still being controlled by the Inspector General of Police. And they are overwhelmed. So many members have seen it, although there are still some members who don't still see it. But I'm sure that by the time they give to their own state and they ask their people, if we have state police to be able to provide security for our people, will you prefer it? Everybody will say yes. I'm sure anybody who votes against state police now and there's security in the state, his people will be angry with him. Unlike before. You know, a few years ago, you can travel on road to anywhere. But you go on road now. I remember in those days, we used to come from Lagos to Abuja with night bus. You come to Abuja, you do all the work. In the evening, you enter night bus and you sleep in your bus, luxurious bus, until you get to your destination. How many people can try that now? Everywhere there's insecurity, even in your own house. So what I'm saying is that the legislators themselves are seeing the insecurity as it is. Their people are seeing it. I'm sure if the bill of the state police, when it comes as a constitutional amendment, I'm sure that people will look at it favorably. I'll put the bill there, and of course, we will argue the position out of floor of the House, and people will look at the pros and cons. Like I said the last time, we voted for state police, but we lost our vote by 24 votes, which was very small.
Let's see what happens
if we
eventually.
put it now with what is happening right now, we should win it.
I guess time will tell. We'll see if they put their money where their mouth is. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us today, and all the best with that bill.